2024 is coming in hot, and these are some of the most important sneaker releases that are rumored to release next year. I guess I should probably address this. And speaking of early releases, I'm actually giving away a pair of the upcoming Air Jordan 11 Gratitudes that, while no, they don't release in 2024, they do release in December, which is almost 2024, and you can win a pair of these for absolutely free for yourself. And of course, this giveaway is made possible by the sponsor of today's video, Whatnot. Whatnot, if you're not familiar, is a live auction shopping platform with sneaker auctions 24 hours a day starting at just $1. And twice a month, I have sneaker auctions of my own where I give away sneakers, I sell pairs from my own personal collection, I even sell Apothecary socks. And in this upcoming stream, I'm giving away this pair of Air Jordan 11 Gratitudes, which, like I said, don't release until December. So if you want to check out my upcoming live stream and of course enter to win this pair of sneakers for yourself, make sure to click the link in the top of the description below. And if you sign up for Whatnot using that link, you get $10 towards your first purchase. And I know if you've been watching the channel for a while, you've definitely heard me talk about Whatnot a bunch, and that's not just because I support the channel, but it's also because I genuinely use Whatnot all the time, whether it's my twice monthly live streams or buying sneakers and supporting my sneaker addiction. I've also started to accumulate a pretty ridiculous retro game collection. Yeah, I have a problem. But genuinely, Whatnot is a really awesome place to buy and sell your stuff, whether it's sneakers, basketball cards, Pokemon cards, video games, whatever you buy and sell, you can do that on Whatnot. So if you want to check out Whatnot for yourself, enter to win this pair of Air Jordan 11s for yourself, grab some of the pairs of sneakers from my own personal collection, or even buy some socks. We've got the brand new Apothecary flower collection dropping this Friday, and I will have pairs on my Whatnot live stream. Make sure to click the link in the top of the description below, and again, if you sign up using my link, you get $10 towards your first purchase, whether that's a pair of socks, whether that's a pair of shoes, or if you want to grab something that's not on my live stream, you're welcome to do that too. Huge thank you to Whatnot for being a longtime supporter of the channel, and with that being said, back to the video. I'm going to be running down this list in no particular order, so why don't we just start things off with the shoe at the number 10 spot, the Yeezy Air Jordan 17 Low. So the Air Jordan Yeezy partnership has produced some pretty incredible collaborations. We've had the Air Jordan 3s, the 4s, the 2s, and the 1s, and soon to have the 5s, and it looks like we're getting a brand new collaboration on a pair of sneakers that we haven't had in a while, and that's the Air Jordan 17. And it actually looks like we're not getting the standard version of the 17, we're getting the 17 Low. I've got to be honest, I don't have that much experience with the Air Jordan 17. I have owned a pair, and I've worn it a couple times, but it was not a shoe that I felt like keeping, so I got rid of it. And so to me, the Air Jordan 17 seems like an odd choice for a collaboration of this magnitude with Yeezy, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jordan Brand has decided to revive the Air Jordan 17 silhouette and do that through a collaboration with Yeezy. So according to Sneaker Files, there'll be two different colorways of this sneaker releasing in the spring of 2022. You've got the beach colorway, which of course you can see this rendering of right now, and then the cabin colorway, which unfortunately does not have a rendering yet. Now, to be fair, this rendering could look nothing like the actual sneaker. These renderings are just based off of rumors or leaks that they've heard from people at Jordan Brand, so there's no way to confirm if this is actually what the sneaker will look like. I'm sure it's going to look somewhat similar, but probably not the same. But I've got to say, I don't mind this beach colorway at all. It doesn't make me love the Air Jordan 17 anymore, but it definitely is one of the best looks that the Air Jordan 17 has ever had, in my opinion. Based on this render, the upper of the shoe comes in a tan suede-like material. You've got some sort of darkish blue, semi-translucent accents around the heel of the shoe. Actually, it kind of reminds me of like that old iMac from like the 2000s. We actually had one in that almost exact same color. And an interesting detail is the sock-like ankle area that features the Yeezy branding around the top. Now, apparently both of these colorways are inspired by Folly Beach in South Carolina, which would make sense that they have names like Beach and Cabin, and also this beach colorway looks a lot like a beach. And it's interesting to see Yeezy use this area as an inspiration. I'm really excited to see what the Cabin colorway looks like, and also of course the actual beach colorway, but we'll just have to wait and see until probably spring of next year. Now, as far as pricing goes, there's no official word on the retail price yet, but the Air Jordan 17 has traditionally been a pretty expensive pair of Air Jordans. Some pairs came with suitcases and CDs, so it makes sense why that pair is more expensive, but I wouldn't be surprised if this shoe comes in above $200. Coming in at number 9, the Trophy Room Air Jordan 1 Low OG. Now, unfortunately, there aren't even renderings of this shoe available yet, and it was also thought that this shoe might release at the end of this year, but it seems like that's actually been debunked, and we're getting this shoe sometime probably in the summer of next year. And there's really not that much to be said about this sneaker. We know it's a Trophy Room collaboration, we know it's an Air Jordan 1 Low OG, which is definitely a good thing because the standard Air Jordan 1 Low is nowhere near as clean as the Air Jordan 1 Low OGs. If you don't know the difference, there's a couple like tag differences and stitching differences and material differences. The Air Jordan 1 Low OG is also a little bit more expensive. This shoe's retail price is set at $140. And based on the style code and colors associated with this rumor, it looks like the shoe is going to come in a black sail and metallic gold. And the first thing that come to mind are those patent leather black, gold, and white top 3 Air Jordan 1s. It's not the most beautiful silhouette in the world or colorway in the world, but it's not bad, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's something similar to what Trophy Room ends up doing, especially because they're citing metallic gold, which means that there's going to be something sparkly, shiny, or some form of metallic gold on the shoe. Hopefully it's done in a tasteful way that's very clean and very wearable. We'll have to wait and see. I didn't love the freeze-out Air Jordan 1s. They weren't my favorite Air Jordan 1s in the world, but I would have grabbed a pair if I could have grabbed one for retail. I'm not going to spend $3K on that shoe or whatever it's going for now. And I'm just really interested to see what this sneaker ends up looking like when we finally get images of this shoe in the next couple months. According to Just Fresh Kicks, it looks like this shoe is slated to release on February 15th, 2024, but of course that release date can absolutely change, especially because we don't know if it's even set in stone. Moving on to number 8, the next Yeezy sneaker. So over the last couple years, Kanye West has been heavily involved in controversy after controversy, and unfortunately one of the outcomes of those controversies is that he's no longer creating sneakers with Adidas. However, it seems like that's actually what he wanted because he was asking out the contract before all these controversies happened, or at least some of these controversies. And so with all of that in mind, it seems like Kanye West could be working on his own brand or his own in-house shoe or project. Now at this point in September of 2023, there is no information on what he's going to release or if he's ever going to release any other kind of sneaker again, but it does seem like he's working on some sort of sock style shoe because he patented the name Yeezy sock shoe. Plus there's been a lot of images of him walking around in both sock shoes and in bare feet, which is a new look for Kanye. So unfortunately, we just don't have a lot of solid information. We don't know if he's actually releasing these sock shoes, although I would assume he's got something in the works because he's patented the name. I also don't know if he's working on anything else, but he is undoubtedly one of the most influential people in sneaker culture ever. And so because of that, it's going to be interesting to see what he does next. And just completely out of interest, I bought a pair of sock shoes on Amazon because the products do already exist. You can find them all over the place. It's just like a sock with a rubber outsole. If you guys want us to make one at Apothecary, we will, if you guys want it. I don't know if it'd be worth it, but we could try it. And I gotta be honest, they don't suck that bad. They're actually really interesting. I don't know if I'd wear them every day. They're very similar to like toe shoes, but they're not bad. So as weird as it would be if Kanye West actually released sock shoes, I think they'd fly. Now is that a good thing? I don't know, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Coming in at number 7, the Air Jordan 1 Low 85 Neutral Gray. So it's kind of surprising that this shoe is releasing in 2024 because we just recently had a pair of Air Jordan 1 Low Neutral Grays. Now, granted, they weren't the 85 cut of this shoe, which means the shoe that most closely resembles the original 1985 Air Jordan 1, but they were pretty similar. I mean, obviously they were Air Jordan 1 Low, so of course they're going to be similar, but it looks like Jordan Brand is releasing the 85 cut of this shoe. And to be honest with you, I'm not mad about it. I really like the neutral gray Air Jordan 1s. I think they're an incredibly clean sneaker, super easy to wear, and especially in this low top variant, I think it's going to be a very popular sneaker because the Air Jordan 1 Low actually seems to be almost more popular than the Air Jordan 1 right now, which is kind of wild. And the 85 cut Air Jordan 1s tend to be higher quality sneakers overall. The leather actually is nicer than the leather used on standard Jordan 1s. It feels stiffer, but it's thicker and higher quality, and it breaks in really nicely. So if you haven't yet tried a pair of 85s, I definitely recommend it. Now, unfortunately, because the 85 cut of the shoe is a higher quality sneaker, the price point is also higher, and the price point of this Air Jordan 1 Low comes in at $170. And as we saw with the last Air Jordan 1 that we talked about, which was $140, which is still higher than the standard Air Jordan 1 Low price, $170 is a lot to ask for a pair of Jordan 1 Lows. Now, with that being said, all of the 85 cut Jordan 1s have completely sold out because they were released in very limited numbers, but it's still a shoe that I wish was a little bit cheaper so that some people with tighter budgets could actually afford this shoe. But I guess it is what it is, and if you want a pair of these, they should be releasing in the spring of next year, 2024. Coming in at number 6, we've got the J Balvin Air Jordan 3 Rio. So at the time of recording this video, the J Balvin Air Jordan 3s haven't even officially dropped, and even though those shoes haven't dropped yet, people are still looking ahead to the next J Balvin Air Jordan 3. So if you're watching this video, you're probably familiar with the J Balvin Air Jordan 3s. They come in a tan upper accented by this really nice gradient on both the midsole and on the heel of the sneaker. Well, it looks like the next version of this shoe is going to be an all black version of this release with the same gradient on the heel tab and on the midsole of the shoe, except with orange accents around the lace eyelets of the sneaker. Now the problem is, we know the sneaker exists because J Balvin has been seen wearing this pair, but we don't know if it's a friends and family pair or an actual release. It seems like a lot of websites think that it's going to be an actual release that's going to drop in the summer of next year, but I'm not so sure. That being said, I wanted to include it because I think that it is going to be one of the more popular releases of 2024 if it does end up releasing. I've got to be honest, I think I prefer the upcoming J Balvin Air Jordan 3s, the Medellin Sunsets, to this Rio colorway. I just think it's a more fun, summery sneaker that I can rock more often, but this Rio colorway is also not bad. And I think both of these Air Jordan 3s are the best sneakers that J J Balvin has ever released. I was not sold on the J Balvin 1s. I was sold on the J Balvin 2s, but at the $300 price point, it was a tough sell. And with these guys, they are $250 in both colorways, but it's super clean and it's super wearable, again, in both colorways. And obviously, if this black Rio J Balvin Air Jordan 3 colorway ends up dropping, it's going to be incredibly popular and probably very difficult to get, just as difficult to get as this upcoming J Balvin 3. Coming in at number 5, the Nike Kobe 4 Protro Philly. So I know I said the number 5 spot goes to the Kobe 4 Protro Philly, but in reality, I kind of wanted to go to all of the Kobe's releasing in 2024. So this year, Vanessa Bryant and Nike came to a deal to allow Nike to continue releasing Kobe sneakers. Now, there's definitely things that you could say about the way that Nike handled his passing in terms of sneaker releases and the fact that they limited some of his releases that honored his family and also helped donate money to charities that his family supported. The fact that they released so few of those sneakers and they were so difficult to get and people just wanted to support Kobe's family and just wear sneakers to honor Kobe, and Nike made that very difficult, sucked. But it's definitely nice to see that Nike is finally releasing a lot of Kobe's, at least a lot of different Kobe silhouettes, which means it should be easier to grab pairs of Kobe's if you want to rock Kobe's, honor his legacy in that way, and enjoy the sneakers. All that to say, there's a lot of really great Kobe colors dropping in 2023, my favorite of which being the Kobe 4 Protro Philly. Obviously, because I live in Philly and I love the Sixers, and this is a dope sneaker. Even though Kobe beat the Sixers in the NBA Finals, he's still from Philly, and it's still cool to sort of honor his legacy in that way and rock a pair of sneakers that are dope. Some of the other notable Kobe releases in 2024 are the Nike Kobe 8 Protro Radiant Emerald, the Nike Kobe 8 Protro Court Purple, both releasing on Thursday, February 8th, 2024 for a retail price of $190. Of course, you've also got the Kobe 8 Protro Venice Beach, an incredible colorway that I absolutely love. Apparently, this shoe is rumored to release in the summer of 2024. It's probably going to be the most popular Kobe sneaker to release next year, and unfortunately we have to wait till the summer to grab it, but it is a more summery colorway. Also dropping in the summer are the Kobe 4 Protro Phillies, which this whole segment of the video is about. They're releasing for a retail price of $180. In addition to that, we've got the Kobe 6 Protro Italian Camos dropping in the summer for $180, the Kobe 8 Protro Metallic Golds dropping in the summer for $180, and the Kobe 4 Protro Bi-Coastals. All of these sneakers are incredible, and they're all shoes that I definitely want to at least enter for on the sneakers app, but we'll just have to wait and see when they actually release, what they actually end up looking like, because some of these sneakers are still just renders, and I'm just excited for it. I'm excited for Kobe's to be back. Coming in at number 4, the Travis Scott Jordan Cut the Check. So there's a lot to unpack about this sneaker. First of all, we don't actually know what the name of the sneaker is, and apparently, according to Complex, Jordan Brand doesn't even know what the name of the sneaker is yet. They haven't actually officially come up with a name or landed on a name, so Cut the Check is just a working title. We don't even know which colorways are dropping this year and which colorways are dropping next year. It's assumed that a colorway or maybe 2 colorways are dropping before the end of 2023, but we don't know that for sure. We also don't know what the 2 colorways are. The rumor is that there's going to be a black and multicolored colorway dropping in 2023 and possibly a sail and brown colorway, and then the rest of the colorways that we've seen images of are dropping in 2024, but who actually knows? So if you haven't yet heard of this sneaker, this is Travis Scott's first official, I guess, signature silhouette with Jordan Brand. It's no longer a collab on a pair of Air Jordan sneakers. This is the Travis Scott Jordan. And even though the shoe is technically a brand new silhouette from Jordan Brand, it looks a lot like a mashup of a couple different pairs of sneakers. Like, we've got the Nike Dunks, we've got Jordan 1 Low, we've got the backwards Nike swoosh. There's a lot going on that we've seen before, but it all comes together into a silhouette that looks very skateboardy and also very Travis Scott. But I've got to say that I do like the way that this sneaker looks. It's clean, especially in that sail and brown colorway. Again, we don't know if that's dropping this year or next year. Apparently, one of the colorways of the shoe, the colorway releasing next year, is going to drop in the summer of 2024 for a retail price of $200. So I guess the only question left to answer is, how are you going to wear your pair? With the strap strapped or unstrapped? I don't know. That's all I got. There's really not much to know about the sneaker until it actually comes out. Next up at number 3, the Air Jordan 4 Military Blue. So the Military Blue Air Jordan 4 was one of the 4 original Air Jordan 4 colorways that released back in 1989. And since then, we haven't had too many retros of the shoe. The shoe comes in a white leather upper accented by a gray nubuck mudguard, and of course blue hits on the midsole, on the accent details of the shoe, and on the heel tab. And it's one of the most popular Jordan 4 colorways of all time, probably because it's an OG colorway, but also because it's incredibly clean. And with the Air Jordan 4 being as popular as it is when it comes to Air Jordan silhouettes, this shoe will be a must-have for a lot of people out there. According to Kicks on Fire, the 2024 Military Blue 4s are going to release in a silhouette that looks almost identical to the 2006 pair, and it will feature the Nike Air branding on the heel. And the good news is, this pair, like most of the other 4 retros that have released this year and last year, it should release in full family sizing, which means you can rock a pair, your kids can rock pairs, your cousin can rock a pair, your neighbor can rock a pair. It doesn't matter what their shoe size is, you should be able to wear a pair of the military blue 4s. Even though there should be a lot of pairs releasing, it's still going to be a difficult shoe to get because of the fact that it's an OG colorway and a very clean 4. So keep that in mind. And well, I guess you still have a while to wait until the shoe actually releases because it isn't dropping until the summer of 2024 for a frustratingly high retail price of $215. So I guess it's a good thing that it's not released until the summer because you have time to save up for it. Coming in at number 2, Adidas Fear of God Athletics. So over the last year, Jerry Lorenzo teamed up with Adidas, leaving Nike behind, and started Adidas Fear of God Athletics. And it seems like that not only is Jerry Lorenzo a collaborator with Adidas, but he's also the director of their athletics program. I don't know exactly what that means. I don't know if he's in charge of all of Adidas basketball sneakers when it comes to non-signature silhouettes, or if he's just releasing his own line of stuff, who knows. But it does look like Jerry Lorenzo is dropping his own line of Adidas basketball product. But I do get the feeling that even though Jerry Lorenzo is releasing his own Fear of God Adidas line, he does have a lot of influence in the Adidas basketball space, because this shoe, the Adidas Infinity, is a very Jerry Lorenzo Fear of God looking sneaker. It's a new take on a famous Kobe silhouette. I gotta be honest, it's a dope shoe, but it also seems to act as a preview of what's to come when it comes to Adidas and Fear of God. And as of right now, there are a lot of Adidas and Fear of God products slated. Now, we don't know exactly when they're all releasing, whether they're releasing this year or next year, but presumably we're getting some this year and some next year. So I'm gonna go through some of the notable ones, and I guess we'll talk about them. So first off, there are some brand new silhouettes that seem to come straight out of the mind of Jerry Lorenzo. You've got this Adidas basketball silhouette that features this black ankle area and this sort of tan toe area. It kind of looks like a Yeezy 750 a little bit, and also sort of a Nike Air Fear of God 1. So there's definitely some inspiration from a couple different sneakers in this shoe. It looks like Fear of God and Jerry Lorenzo have also put their mark on other Adidas silhouettes that we may have already seen. From what I can tell, this looks like a modified version of the Rivalry lows and possibly the top 10s. And in addition to all of those shoes we've already talked about, there's also this new pair of Adidas Fear of God running shoes, or at least they look like running shoes, or a designer running shoe or something like that. None of the names of these shoes are yet available. We don't know exactly when they're releasing, if they're gonna drop this year or next year. There's no real word yet, but what's annoying is that I'm sure by the time I put out this video, all the information will be public. I don't know if that's the case, but by the time you're watching this video, all this information could be public. Whether these shoes release in 2023 or not, we know that some of them will probably release in 2024, whether that's different colorways of shoes that have already dropped or even new silhouettes that never dropped in 2023. And without really knowing any information about these shoes, I do have to say that the quality of these sneakers looks really, really on point. The materials used seem super high quality. The cuts of the shoes I really like, even the ones that are like modified Adidas silhouettes that already exist. I like those a lot. I definitely prefer the newer, modern looking basketball sneakers that he seems to be working on, but either way, I'm here for it. I'm here for all of it. I'm gonna try and grab as many of these shoes as I can to give you guys reviews of these sneakers and find out whether the Jerry Lorenzo Fear of God Adidas line is actually a solid line of sneakers, which it's shaping up to be. Now, like I said, there is no release information for any of these shoes yet, but expect some to release in 2023 and some to release in 2024. That's all we know. Also, I want to talk about New Balance releases because New Balance is like my favorite brand out there, but they're not very forthcoming about what they've got coming next year. Like Jordan Brand, all that stuff you know about like 4 years in advance. Adidas, you have some idea of what's dropping the following year, but New Balance, there's just nothing out there for it. So it's frustrating because I love New Balance, but maybe, you know, as we get closer to 2024 or starting off the year of 2024, I'll make an updated version of this video and hopefully include some New Balance sneakers in that video. And also, your fit isn't complete without a dope pair of socks. So whether you're trying to grab some of the shoes on this list or maybe even find a dope pair of socks to rock with your current sneakers in your collection, Apothecary has it covered. If you guys want to check out some Apothecary socks, there will be a link in the description below. I will be selling some socks at my Whatnot live stream, but you can grab any of the socks that we have available through our website, apothecary.com. And of course, we're also dropping the flower collection this Friday. I know I already told you guys about it, but I'm hype on it, so I want to tell you guys again. But with all that being said, let's get into number 1. And coming in at number 1 is the Air Jordan 4 Reimagined Bread. So over the last year or so, Jordan Brand has been reimagining some of their OG colorways and some of their more popular silhouettes. We got the Lost and Found Air Jordan 1s, which were Chicago Air Jordan 1s. We've got the Air Jordan 3 Reimagines, which were White Cement 3s. We're now getting the Royal Reimagines, which are like a suede take on the Royal 1s. And in 2024, we're getting the Bread 4 Reimagines, which are actually doing something similar to what the suede ones are doing, except switching the materials from suede to leather. So it seems like Jordan Brand, for some reason, is changing up materials but keeping the colorway the same on 2 different sneakers that are incredibly popular. I know people are going to be into it because it's a 4, it's a bread, and people love leather. So right off the bat, this shoe seems to have the exact same color blocking as the original Bred 4s. You've got a black upper, a gray midsole, red hits on both the outsole and on the back of the tongue, and of course, red branding details and white branding details. However, unlike the original Bred 4s, instead of the black upper being made up of suede or nubuck, I think it was nubuck actually, they're using tumbled leather, which is a change that I don't think anyone really was asking for. People would have been more than happy with a standard pair of Bred 4s, but now for the first time ever, I think, we're getting a leather Bred 4. Now, while some OG purists might not love this change, I do think the general public will be happy with this shoe because they love Air Jordan 4s and this is an OG colorway, and even though the material change is pretty drastic, it doesn't change the look of the sneaker that much, at least on foot. There's a lot of people out there who just prefer tumbled leather to nubuck or suede, especially because you can wear it out in the rain and not get it as like messed up as you would if you're wearing your suede shoes out in the rain. Now when it comes to what I prefer, I think I prefer the OG look of this shoe. I also like the way that the nubuck gives the shoe a sort of matte look, but this leather isn't bad. It's still a sneaker that I'm definitely trying to grab because I love the 4, I love any OG 4 colorway, and I'm sure it's gonna look good. Now in terms of release information, it looks like this shoe is supposed to release on February 17th, probably around All-Star Weekend. However, none of that information is confirmed, and the retail price of this shoe should be around $215. And I still think even with this drastic material change on the sneaker, it's still going to be incredibly popular, and a lot of people are going to be going for it. And most likely, I'm going to be one of those people.